Bulls Nation, a hard-fought, gritty game. A game full of ups, a game full of downs, a game that didn't end in the fourth quarter, a game that went into regulation. And Bulls Nation, it was a tough game, but in overtime, we managed, with the veterans that we had and the smart plays that we managed to find our way on top against the Indiana Pacers. What a tremendous performance and a very hard-fought victory. And let's talk about this victory against the Indiana Pacers in this video. Let's do it. What's up, everybody? It's the Aidan Sports Show, and welcome back to another video. Today, we've got a Chicago Bulls versus Indiana Pacers game reaction. The Chicago Bulls, with a very tough Indiana Pacers team, a gritty defensive team, found their way to get this game into overtime, and the Bulls in overtime did the rest and did something that we haven't done in a long time, and that is beat the Indiana Pacers and to do it away from home. But before we get started, please like and subscribe to the Aidan Sports Show YouTube channel. Turn notifications on. Let me know in the comments below who is your player of the game, and let me know just how good this victory is. At the end of the day, this is a massive victory for the Chicago Bulls, not just because we haven't beat the Pacers in a long time, not just because the Pacers were 9-1 in overtime performances until obviously we beat them today, but it's a major victory in the terms of the standings of this league and obviously trying to keep up with the teams that are ahead of us at the moment, as we picked up a huge victory against a team that is arguably one of our competitors for that 8th seed, potentially higher than that as well. No team in the NBA, in my opinion, is doing dramatically well. There are so many teams below 500 in the Eastern Conference, and the Bulls need to keep up pace with the rest of the East. And we're doing that, and that's a massive victory, and hopefully we can see more of that this week with huge performances against teams that are our level, teams that are having pretty good injuries as well. The Pacers didn't have Doug McDermott. Obviously, the Bulls didn't have Larry Markkinen. There are injuries on both sides. So it's very good to see this victory for the Chicago Bulls. And I thought we played very well, but I'm not going to lie to you. When I was watching this game, there was so much frustration going into it, especially during the second half, the third and the fourth quarters, because we've seen this song and dance before with the Chicago Bulls, where we're up by 13 and we give away the leads in a blink of an eye so easily. So many easy points for the Pacers, and I just thought this is just one of those games. It's going to be one of those games where we're up by 13, we're up by 15, and the Pacers come back, and the Pacers will take the lead, and then the Pacers will run away with it. Thankfully, that was not the case today, and there were some very strong performances from these players to make sure that wasn't the case. In overtime, our veterans took the reins of this team. Garrett Temple, Thaddeus Young, obviously Zach LaVine as well. Big performances from these players in overtime to take us to that victory. Denzel Valentine as well with a massive 3. The Bulls did what they were supposed to do in overtime, but in my opinion, and to bring the only negative I will say about this game to light, this game should have not went to overtime. The Bulls should have taken care of this game well before overtime. When you have a 13-point lead in the third quarter, you must keep that. You must find a way to keep that. The Pacers go on a run, the Bulls need to go on a similar run. We didn't see enough of that in the second half, and that's why this game went to overtime. But thankfully, whatever the issues were with this game, it is done, it is over. A tough game, a frustrating game, but also a thrilling game, as the Bulls did win this game 120-112. Very good to see a few players come back today. Wendell Carter is what I'm targeting as well. But when I say that, Wendell Carter came back today, played 21 minutes. And he did very well. And again, it just shows that we've missed Wendell Carter. And we'll talk about the rest in due time. So let's go into that box score, shall we? Let's look at the Chicago Bulls. Let's look at all the things that we've done. And another thing that I do have to say, facilitating. Before we go into individual performance, facilitating on this team was very big for the Chicago Bulls. At the end of the day, we were not the best defensive team in this game. The Pacers were the best defensive team in this game. But we shared the ball. We got our selections and we got their big men into foul trouble. And I think that really helped out towards the rest of the team, which is a big step in the right direction as well. We need to keep seeing these facilitating. We need to keep passing the ball movement, player movement. We see inconsistencies in terms of that. Today we moved the ball very nicely, and in the end we got what we deserved out of this game. So let's go into individual performers. I want to start off with Wendell Carter, as I was speaking about him before. 21 minutes played, 11 points, 1 assist and 9 rebounds. Wendell Carter, it is great to see him back in the Chicago Bulls uniform. Obviously, we still are undetermined if he's going to be the future of this team or not, as many people have mixed opinions about him. But I think it's very safe to say, when he's back, he is our best center. He's better than Daniel Gafford. He's better than Luke Cornett that got backup center minutes today. He's better than Felicio. I think Thaddeus Young is the only one that can match him in terms of center, but Thaddeus Young is not a natural center. Maybe Wendell Carter isn't a natural center either. But we've missed him. We missed him a lot. He gave us some good offense with 11 points, and he crashed the glass heavily today. I remember the first game against the Indiana Pacers. Sabonis absolutely put a beating on Wendell Carter. I can't say the same in this game. I know Sabonis had a decent game, but when you look at the game and you see the way Sabonis played, he could do 10 times better than what he did today. He missed so many layups. He missed so many opportunities. He gave the ball away. He was struggling, Sabonis. And Wendell Carter, in my opinion, played a role in helping that, and especially in crashing the boards with 9 rebounds. Fair play to Wendell Carter Jr. on his first game back and only playing 21 minutes and getting that stat line. That's a big game from Wendell Carter, in my opinion. Let's move on into the rookie Patrick Williams. 7 points, 1 assist, 9 rebounds. Another player that crashed the glass today. In my opinion, Patrick Williams was our best defender in today's game as well. I know Wendell Carter had some good shouts for a good defender today, but I think Patrick Williams was our best defender in today's game. And I think in the end, he crashed the glass. He was very aggressive in his rebounding. I think he could have got a little bit more shots up. I think he could have been a little bit more efficient with his scoring. But again, a rookie, I'm not going to expect him to be shooting 50% for the rest of his season. That's not how I expect that to go. But he's doing very, very well still. He's finding other ways to contribute when his shot is not going in, which is a very good asset to have as a young player. Garrett Temple. 39 minutes played, started this game, 16 points, 1 assist, 4 rebounds, huge shot in overtime, made some big plays in the game as well. A few things didn't go his way. There was a charge, specifically I believe in the first half, that he didn't get, which I thought was ridiculous. But regardless, I thought he had a fantastic game, a game that brings him back into form, a game that we want to see from Garrett Temple very, very often. And again, when Garrett Temple performs the way that he does, we will win a lot more games than we lose. It's as simple as that. This is what the Bulls have in terms of, I guess you could say, when Garrett Temple plays like this, we will be in games more often than not and we can win them. That's the progression of this team, to have good veterans that will show up when we need them the most. Garrett Temple is part of that as well. Kobe White, 19 points, 8 assists and 7 rebounds, a near triple-double for Kobe White. Now again, efficiency-wise in terms of scoring and probably facilitating, I'm not sure how many turnovers he had. It wasn't the best game, but he stuck with it. You have to give credit to Kobe White. He stuck with it. He got his points. He got his assists. He was great in terms of the playmaking today with those 8 assists, and he crashed the boards. He did his thing out there today. And again, it's not the best scoring night from Kobe White. He didn't make every single 3. He didn't go in for dunks. But he did his thing out there, and this is what I want to see with Kobe White. Where even when the game is not finding him as well as we would like, he was still a big part of this game. He still found his shots. He still found his points. He still played aggressive. He played within himself. And he played freely. Not many times did I see Kobe White try to force something out there today. That's a big part of how good he can play. When he's playing freely, when he's playing the right way, he gets these kind of stats. It's all about finding the consistency and allowing him to play this way. I'm not expecting 19 points and 8 assists every game. What I am expecting is consistency and allowing him to play freely and playing aggressively and finding other ways to contribute when his scoring is not always there. And those 19 points is still very good for someone that I didn't think have a great scoring game. Zach LaVine. 30 points, 3 assists, 9 rebounds. I think it would be a massive mistake if I didn't mention Zach LaVine and that 3-point shot at the end of the 4th quarter. Again, in my opinion, that's a terrible shot. It's a terrible shot, but hey, Damian Lillard made that very same shot against us with the Chicago Bulls. I'll never forget that shot. And Zach LaVine did the same thing here. At the end of the day, no one will complain when Zach LaVine makes that shot. It's about when Zach LaVine misses that shot, because then you think to yourself, there's a better shot out there. There was a better shot than that one. But fair play to Zach LaVine for making that a very big shot that kept us in this game, and that shot is the key to the victory here. Because again, we could have won this in the fourth quarter as well. Don't be mistaken. We could have won this well into the fourth quarter, but we allowed the Pacers to come back. And because of that, Zach LaVine had to make this shot. And fair play, he made the shot and he did very, very well. He crashed the boards. I think defensively, he let Justin Holiday off a bit. Too many three-point shots allowed for him. But regardless of that, overall, I thought it was a very decent game from Zach LaVine. Moving into another player that that had a good game in overtime. Denzel Valentine, 11 points, 2 assists, 4 rebounds. I talked about Denzel Valentine in my last video. The same thing applies here. He's stepping up in big moments for the Chicago Bulls. He's allowing us to have a good offensive and good playmaking style in our offense. He's a player that can make a shot. He made a shot in overtime, a massive shot in overtime, I should say as well. He facilitates. He's not the best defender. We all know that. But he's a willingness to try on defense. And he gives his all out. Look, he gives his all on defense. I've not seen anybody try as much as Denzel Valentine on defense. That's all you could want from a player that's not gifted with athleticism and a player that's not really a good defender because of that. All you want to see is hard work ethic from a player that is not a naturally good defender. And that's what we're seeing from Denzel Valentine, which is why he's getting these 33-minute games, which is why he's keeping the likes of Chandler Hutchison even when he was playing out of the lineup. He is doing his part for this team, and there has to be respect that goes with that. I'm very, very happy with the way that Denzel Valentine played, and he's been playing for the past few weeks, and he deserves that praise, and he's getting that praise from me once again today. And it's kind of fitting that I've left these last two players for the last people to talk about in the box score, because at the end of the day, massive performances from these two, and it kind of goes hand in hand here. Firstly, let's talk about Thaddeus Young. 13 points, 4 assists, 11 rebounds. And of course, another big game for Thaddeus Young. Consistency every single game, which is very, very good. A lot of times where he made Sabonis give away a foul. A lot of times where he, in the end, got his shots up over these big men. And again, he versed his former side today, so I'm sure he had an incentive to play well. Getting a double-double is very good, obviously, for him. And of course, beating the Pacers, his old team, he'll be very happy with that. I'm sure he'll come back where we're in our next game against Charlotte, ready to go because of that game against the Indiana Pacers. So fair play to him. And Satoransky, 13 points, 4 assists, and 3 rebounds, I believe. At the end of the day, these two play tremendously well with each other. This is probably the most underrated dynamic duo that the Bulls have. Satoransky and Thaddeus Young. They always play well with each other. They always find each other. And the reason why I believe that is because they're very similar in what they want to do. They want to pass the ball into the paint. They like players that move and cut. Satoransky, very good cut today that Thaddeus Young found. And it's vice versa with the pick and rolls. These two love playing with each other. These two have found a dynamic duo that is allowing this team to stay in games, allowing this bench to be the best bench in the league, and allowing this team to continue to win these tough games that we're in. At the end of the day, if these two keep performing at the way that they do, it's very hard for us to go and be down by 10 points, 15 points in these games because our bench is stepping up. These two players are stepping up. I think these two play tremendously well with each other, and I want to see that continue in the long run. I want to see that continue for the rest of the season, where if we are in a playoff position or not. I want to see these two continue to develop with each other, because these two have been heavily criticized for a long time with this team last season. And they're having two completely different seasons, night and day seasons, and they're playing very well with each other this time around. So I want to see that continue for the long haul. Of course, Luke Cornett played today. I think Archie Diacono played a few minutes today as well. I'm not going to mention those two. The one thing I do have to say, Luke Cornett, if you want to see consistent minutes for this team, if you can knock down that three-point shot, you had 4 or 5 open three-pointers today and you missed them all. If you want to see consistent minutes for this team, it's time to hit that shot. I guess it's a streaky shooter type of scenario with Luke Cornett. But again, if he makes those shots, it's a very big plus to have him on the bench, but he needs to make them. Very good open shots. Again, defensively, he wasn't terrible, but he's weak defensively. We know that. It's up to him to make those shots. Now let's talk about the must-improve player of the game, and it probably is Luke Cornett for those 4, 5 open three-point shot misses. Again, Luke Cornett is here for his offense. He's on the Bulls for his offense. And again, he got the backup minutes over Daniel Gafford today. And to see that he had so many open shots and to miss all of them, it's disappointing, because you know Luke Cornett can make that shot. You know Luke Cornett can make a mid-range as well. You know Luke Cornett offensively is a pretty decent center, one of the better centers, especially in terms of backups in the NBA offensively. But defensively, he was weak. Again, a few times on Sabonis, where Sabonis just was having an off game. Luke Cornett was on him. But you have to make those shots. At the end of the day, this is a player that is struggling to get minutes on this team. And we're not a very good team. We're not a team that can afford to lose players. And Luke Cornett is added to that addition of minutes so far. He needs to make those shots. He made those shots last game. He didn't make them this game, and he had more of them. So again, would love to see him make those shots. And maybe when he gets more game time, he gets a little bit more confidence, those shots will go in. That's what I want to see. I'm not going to heavily criticize Luke Cornett. At the end of the day, he barely plays for this team. So I'm not surprised that he's a bit rusty, but hopefully he can pick things up in those next few games if he gets more of those game time. Player of the game, it is going to be Zach LaVine, but I want to give a huge shout out to Kobe White, and I want to give a huge shout out to Garrett Temple and Thaddeus Young for their fantastic overtime performance. But I am going to give it to Zach LaVine just because of that huge performance. And again, this is a game where not many people had tremendous scoring nights. This is a team that has kept the likes of Trae Young quiet, kept the likes of Jeremy Grant quiet, kept the likes of a lot of star players quiet. They did not keep Zach LaVine quiet, because Zach LaVine is an all-star. Zach LaVine is a tremendous player. And not only that, Zach LaVine is so diverse in his scoring ability. He can attack the paint with the best of them. He can shoot the three with the best of them. He's an amazing mid-range shooter. He can get to the line. There are so many ways that Zach LaVine can score, which allows him to get those 3 assists. And he played very well, hustling in the defense and those rebounds. So Zach LaVine was tremendous in my opinion today. Again, very, very aggressive. I think we're going to need that. Wendell Carter came back, so it eased the pressure off of him. Larry Markkinen will come back soon. That will ease the pressure off of him more. When this team's fully healthy, I believe we can continue to stride into those playoff positions. But that's the key. If this team is healthy, Larry Markkinen, I think, is the last person to come back with Otto Porter. These are the 2 players now that I'm banking on to hopefully come back and stay healthy the rest of the season. I don't know what's happening with Otto Porter. Larry Markkinen hopefully will be back soon. So these are the players that we're waiting for. But again, a massive victory for this team. The Bulls' record is 11-15. We currently sit in 11th. The Pacers sit 7th, I believe, now with that New York Knicks victory. I'm not really sure how that is, but maybe that's what's... Hopefully, I'm right on that. And we continue to push forward and we continue to try and get into that playoff bracket and maybe go above that to the 16th. I'm not really sure how this is going to go. The Bulls, all it takes is a good run and we're back in that contention with the rest of the team. Hopefully this victory, this tough victory, a victory that will give the Bulls confidence, a victory against a good team. Hopefully this can carry over into our next few games, which are winnable. Philly, of course, is a game that if we win, that's amazing. But Charlotte have played very, very well, but we can beat them, and we've done that before. The Kings is a game that we should have won last time, and of course we didn't. That's a winnable game. These are 2 winnable games this week that we look at and say, if we win those games, we're right up there with the rest of the teams. And let's see how we go. Our next game is against Charlotte. LaMelo Ball is starting. That's something that will be different from last game to this game. Charlotte, LaMelo Ball will be starting. Cody Zeller obviously returned in their first game against us. That was his first game back and he was struggling. I'm not expecting Cody Zeller to struggle in that game. So I think this game against the Charlotte Hornets will be a lot tougher than the last time we faced them. But again, the Bulls need to win this game. The Bulls need to find ways to beat teams that are in front of us and also to beat teams in competition with us. And Charlotte is one of those teams. We need to go and beat them. We need to go and beat we need to go and beat a team that is doing very well. They've won a few games now. They have that momentum. And it's up to the Bulls to do that. Again, they've had very good victories, Charlotte. So it's going to be a tough game, but the Bulls need to walk out of there with a win. I respect the Charlotte Hornets. I think they're fun to watch and we'll see how things go. Thank you guys for watching. Please like and subscribe if you're new. Have a wonderful and safe day, Bulls Nation. Enjoy this victory and I'll see you in another Chicago Bulls video. Take care and peace.